This podcast is a 98 Studios production.
Today's the day, baby.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
Today's the motherfucking day.
Today is the day.
Today's the day.
Today is the day.
Today's the day.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to Today's the Day with Zack Anderson. I'm extremely excited for this episode. We've had a little gap without guests. I want to make sure the guests that we have on really speak to you guys that listen. And I'm honestly really excited to have the conversation for my own sake and just chat with you. And today we got Drew Overson on, and I couldn't be more excited. So let me preface. First off, thank you for being here, homie.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah, you came straight from work. I appreciate it. You made it happen. Thank you.
Worries.
And I kind of want to tell everyone, including you, why I have you on here, right? The reason I have you on here is because you've displayed, and I've watched, you stumbled upon you on Instagram. I was like, this is so sick. Like I saw the video you posted. It was right before your first summer of doing summer sales, and you posted it, and I watched it. I'm like, this is so sick. And I'm not going to spoil it or give the details of everything, but the reason it was like, I got to have this kid on the podcast is because you display something that I think a lot of people lack, that I think is a true principle in having a successful life. And what you display is you understand the concept and the principle that you're in complete control of your life. And regardless of your circumstances or your situation or things that might be looked at as like a reason to not, or a very, very easy excuse to use if you choose to,
For sure.
you don't use it at all. Like, in fact, you kind of like lean on it and leverage it to go and have a benefit, which is a great idea, right? Like it's so sick. It's taking what the hand you're dealt and making it the exact hand that's going to create the exact life you want, which is so sick. So I'm super excited to have you on here. And let's give everyone a preview. Give everyone the rundown. Why do you think I have you on here? What do you think I mean by that? And give us like your little intro of like, hey, dude, this is why you should listen to this shit. I got some good shit to tell you.
Yeah, for sure. I think throughout life and just the human experience, we come into contact with like challenges or things that might pop up on us. And there's always a million reasons like not to do something. But I think for me, at this point in time in my life, I'm kind of just at a spot where like you really only need one good reason to like give something a shot. And sometimes that requires a lot of patience and everything too. But just understanding that like everyone's got a million reasons not to do something, like whatever it is. But it really only takes like one good reason to just dive head first and just go and try to do whatever you need to do.
I love it. And I mean, just to speak to it, like, again, one of the biggest displays I've ever seen to let everybody know and fill everybody in. So you have cerebral palsy. When were you diagnosed with cerebral palsy?
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy very early. I was born 3.5 months premature. So, just spent my first month of life in the NICU, was very tiny as a kid. And then around age like 1.5 to 2, the doctors like were kind of freaking out a little bit just because I wasn't moving around as much. So my mom takes me in for a CAT scan, and they find out that I have cerebral palsy, which basically is just like they've done a like scan on my brain, but basically it's a hole the size of like the point of a pen in my brain. And it basically just makes it so that my connection from my brain to my legs and like controlling like my motor skills there is just damaged. So I have a hard time, keeping my balance. Walking was a struggle for the first little bit of life for sure. Things like that. My balance isn't very good in like certain aspects. And so that's just kind of like a rundown of what it is. So the case that I have, it's called diplegic cerebral palsy. It's actually very mild compared to other people that have it. Most people that do have it are like in wheelchairs, can't walk, can't talk, that sort of thing. Yeah. So I'm very lucky in that sense. But yeah, that's kind of
cool.
A basic overview.
Yeah, totally. And what's really cool, the reason I bring it up is because the whole goal on the podcast is to open up your brain and get a view into your mindset, because the reason that it's so valuable, and I think we're going to talk about a lot of things, this is just going to be kind of the intro into it, is like, it's something that could be a very easy to use excuse, especially not to go do exactly what you chose to do. Yeah. Like, it could be an excuse in general, right? Sure. Which it probably is for a lot of people. Maybe even at times for you it has been. Sure. Yeah. But it could definitely be an excuse for a job where what you do is walk around a neighborhood all day long for 4 months straight and knock on doors.
Yeah.
In whatever the weather might be, in any conditions, not
Right.
not the most friendly conditions to walk in, I assume. Like
No,
just
not ideal.
about as hard as it could get. And when I stumbled upon your Instagram, I was like, I think it was a video of you explaining that. Like, I'm Drew, I have cerebral palsy, and I knock with the grit. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. And then I went and looked at a few videos, and I'm like watching videos. I'm like, holy crap, like this dude like is very, very intentional with this, and he leans into it, and he just kind of, it's not an excuse. And the reason that's so valuable is because what I do every day is I manage door-to-door guys. Right. And these door-to-door guys, although they are in the industry of door-to-door sales and you only make money when you sell accounts, they will find every reason not to knock whenever it may be. It could be the weather. They could be a little bit sick. They could have a hurt leg. They could have whatever. And I went and I watched your videos. I'm like, holy shit, this dude is literally displaying what I wish like all of my reps could go display, which is literally like, dude, screw all of the reasons not to do it. I have one reason to do it, and that's enough. That's enough of a reason to do it, to go out and actually execute, which is so cool. And then, dude, I followed your journey. I mean, that's when I DM'd you originally. And then I followed your journey throughout the summer. I watched videos of you out knocking way past dark. Your Lime scooter ran out of battery. Whatever the hell, whatever, or not Lime scooter, but like your scooter ran out of battery. Like whatever the hell it was. I'm like, this is so entertaining, because all I can think about is like, okay, if I was in that position with that easy of an excuse to access, would I use the excuse? And I like to think I wouldn't, right? I like to think that I wouldn't, but it's a genuine, like, I don't know, dude. And it's really cool because most people would, and you don't. That's the reason to have you on here, is because that takes a different outlook, a different perspective, probably that you've developed over years of life, right? And going through the whole life experience with this situation, which is really freaking cool. So my question for you is this, is if it ever was this like a big excuse that was like a, oh, poor me type thing? And what was the shift that took you from that to, no, I'm the man, I got this shit? Or if it was never that, like, where did that come from?
So, I mean, I never really felt like it was an excuse in the sense that like, it was kind of used as like a cop out for me. In fact, I hate that feeling a lot, like feeling like I like can't do something because of cerebral palsy.
Why do you hate that?
I just don't like the idea of like feeling like I can't do something. And that's something I've struggled with for a long time, and I still kind of struggle with, is like trying to balance what my body needs in reality as opposed to like what I think I can go do. And so like it's tough, and that was honestly, when you talk about like my summer, like that was a really big thing for me that was pretty hard, was just trying to understand, okay, like I really don't like taking breaks. Like I really want to work hard and like do what I need to do while I'm here, and hit whatever goal, right? But there were times where it's like, dude, you've got to like, I mean, I remember talking to our good friend Noah Tolley, he was my manager.
Love Noah. Shout out Noah.
Love him. But he's just like, dude, you gotta like know when to like take a break. Like it's okay, dude. But I guess to answer your question of like when it like shifted, like I said, I never really felt like I was that much different. The only time I can really think about like it really like hitting me in a way I didn't really like understand was, I want to say I was like 7 or 8 years old. And like I said, I'm extremely blessed. Like I still played sports and still did stuff all through school, recess, whatever. But I mean, you're a kid. And when you're a kid, the thing that matters the most on the playground, bro, is like who can run the fastest. And I remember being like, okay, I'm learning now that like I'm not the fastest on the playground, and I probably will never be. And I was also lucky because I never felt like I was like bullied or anything growing up. But I remember talking to my dad about it, just being like, why am I like different? Like why is this like a thing? Like basically like not necessarily like why me, but just like help me understand things a little bit here. And I just vividly remember a conversation I had with him. And what he told me was like, look, we all have strengths and weaknesses in life, and that's just like how it is. And like what matters the most about like what we do here on this floating rock is our attitude and how we like view those things. And so that's something that stuck with me my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, obviously it's still hard. Do I always think that positively? No, but it's like that thing that I can always fall back on and be like, this is what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
So
sick.
kinda answer your question there.
What cool advice. Like truly what cool advice
Yeah.
as a parent to just remove all the emotion. And really what we're talking about, right? To not go make it all about like this situation
No, yeah.
and limitations. It's like, no, really what we're talking about is you can either go and have a victor's mindset or a victim's mindset.
Right.
And you can either go and really, and I saw you came to the Tony Robbins event just recently.
Yeah.
So we kind of speak the same language in that world.
Yeah.
Which by the way, how'd you like that?
Dude, I loved it.
Did you?
It's fantastic. It was like life-changing for me.
Good
Yeah,
deal.
100%.
We'll dive into a little bit of that. But
100%.
really what we're talking about is like the victor's mindset versus the victim's mindset. And
Yeah.
what a sick piece of advice from your dad, which I assume you look up to a lot. And it sounds like
Love
you
him.
played a really big role in making sure you grew up the
Huge.
right way with the
Huge.
right outlook
Yes.
of like, dude, we all got our things.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of your things. All you get to control is how you show up, how your attitude is. Like, it ain't that deep, basically.
Right.
Which
Right.
is like, how sick is that? Even for your dad removes emotion because, dude, I see parents all the time if their kid has any struggle,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be anything similar to yours, but any struggle,
Right.
whatever it may be,
Right.
especially if it's something where it's just a permanent struggle.
Yeah.
It's almost like they coddle and cater, and it turns into like this overextension of like they don't know how to like support.
Uh-huh.
The support that I think is the best is the support that your dad gave you. Of like, yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah.
This is the reality. Like, control your attitude. How sick is that?
Yeah,
That's so
it's
sick.
fantastic.
Because my next question was gonna be like, where'd you get it? And you answered it. Like, that's one of the places you got it. Was your dad.
Yeah, for sure. It was my dad. My dad, he's probably like my biggest role model. He's just an absolute stud.
Yeah.
Very competitive too, which I think is where I get my like competitive drive from. He played professional golf for a while, still plays now. And so like even now I've been able to see him like compete at a high level and like win. And like for me, like it was hard to apply that to other parts of my life. So like I grew up playing golf and basketball and whatever, more golf than anything else. But I felt like because of my cerebral palsy, I was like hitting a ceiling. Like I played all through high school. It was great experience. But I just felt like I was hitting a ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I always wanted to find an opportunity for me that worked to be like, like kind of be on like a level playing field in a sense.
Yeah.
To where it's like, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what like the door-to-door industry has afforded me, which I'm really grateful for. But yeah, that's definitely where I get a lot of my
So going
mindset.
into that, I love that. And going into that, so door to door, like, here's the thing for me, door to door, when my mentor recommended that that's what I go into, I was like, what? I was like, absolutely not. Like, that sounds like too hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds miserable. And it really was. My first year was like, I did not have a victor's mindset. Right. But I did put a lot of attention into controlling my attitude, and I don't quit. Those are like the things I'm good at.
Right.
I'm not good at. I wasn't very good at other things at the beginning.
Right.
You looking into the door-to-door industry, right? And again, this is like the door-to-door industry comes with a lot of freaking challenges as it is. Like it is so damn hard.
It's hard.
And it gives you so many reasons to not knock. And even adding another reason of any sort onto that, whether it be market, physical, anything. Like
there's a plethora of
there's so many things. But to even add anything, let alone something that literally is like it's something where you have to realize like even walking is more difficult than it would be for your average. Like you looking into door to door as like, this is the opportunity I'm going to go into. How the hell did you get there?
Yeah.
What was the thought process there? And was there a moment of like, maybe this isn't like the level playing field for me?
Yeah. So,
like you now understand it, which is so sick. But before, were you looking into it with a different outlook?
Yeah, definitely a different outlook. So like I said, I'm 23. I'm from Provo, Utah. So like middle school, high school, I'm seeing a lot of guys your age go out and make, like my friends' siblings go out and make a bunch of money through door to door. So I knew it was like a legit thing. Like I was blessed to know like it wasn't like a scam. A lot of guys will say it's a scam and everything.
Yeah.
Never thought that necessarily, but I just think the industry has and a lot of times it's an incorrect stigma, but just the idea that like we're going to go and make a bunch of money, we're going to come home, buy a nice car, or like kind of just like spend it on whatever. And I do think it's kind of shifting more towards like actually setting up your life for success. But that left like a really bad taste in my mouth on the surface.
Yeah.
Through high school, I was working at the country club just down the road over here.
Yeah.
So I was meeting a lot of guys that were in door to door, guys that were either running teams or like CEOs of a lot of companies. And it's not like they weren't my friends, like I love them to death, but it was just more like I saw what they were doing and I was just like, that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
Not even necessarily because of my cerebral palsy, but just because it's like I didn't resonate with like that culture, what I assumed that culture to be.
Yeah.
And so it took me a long time. So kind of how it all went down. I was working at the country club at the time. And then at the same time, I was working at a vintage clothing store down here in Provo. And a lot of the guys that were coming through to shop over there were door-to-door guys. They were guys coming home. They wanted to refresh their wardrobe, whatever. And, you know, I was meeting guys that were in charge of like the creative stuff, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I met, you know, John Taylor and Josh Nilsson over at the Grit where I work now. And so like John, I would see at the country club all the time. Josh was at the country club as well, but also into like a lot of the same stuff I am, fashion design and music and stuff like that. And so that's kind of how I connected with them. And they were just my homies. Like they, you know, I would go play golf with Josh and we would just go chop it and I'd see John all the time at work. And so it was just more so like, I still don't think I would ever knock, but if I ever did, I would go with the Grit. And that's kind of where I was up until, you know, being like 19, I went and served an LDS mission in Orlando, Florida. So that was like before my mission. I come home, learned a ton on my mission, just about how to apply the same kind of things in life, like actually. Come home, and I was home for about like a year and a half. I had started school. I was living at home, trying to move out, trying to like do these things and kind of get moving with my life.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was stuck in this like endless cycle to where it's like, okay, in order to go to school, I have to work. And in order to work, I like can't go to school full time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I kind of had to like pick and choose my battles there. And then kind of what changed it for me is just rent. I was home for like a year and a half. I was trying to figure out how I was going to make more money and really what I was good at. If I'm being completely honest, like it was a very like dark time in my life to where I just kind of felt like nothing was really rolling. And I was like, you know, I had all these things I was trying to do, but I didn't really have a way to get there. And right around that time, one of my mission buddies, Jackson Griffith, just like hit me up and said, "Hey, I'm going to sell with the Grit. You should come."
Mm-hmm.
And immediately I was like, "Dude, no, like I'm not gonna knock, but I will tell you, like if you're going to go, I would go with the Grit. Like I know the guys over there, they're fantastic. They'll take good care of you." And so that was kind of just happening. And then literally 2 days later, like I said, I'd met Noah Tolley through the store as well, like a couple years previous.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that he had killed it, done a really good job, went out and golden doored and everything. And 2 days later, I randomly ran into him at an event. And so I was like, okay. And I was like, if he talks to me about sales, I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm just not. And he just, I mean, he's a super genuine dude, but we just chopped it about life. And then after that, I was just like, look, dude, I've got a couple buddies going to knock for the Grit. Like, what's the deal? Because I just knew he's a very straight up human being. He wasn't going to blow smoke up my butt about it.
Yeah.
And so talked to him. We went in to the headquarters where I'd been before as well, which was super nice. And yeah, talked to Parker Anderson over there. He's a regional, and we really just had a conversation, me, him, and Noah, about like what I wanted to do, and like where I saw myself. And at that point in time, and still today, it's like I wanted to run a successful clothing brand, and I wanted to have enough money for school, and like hopefully enough left over to like move out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just told him like, this is what I've got cerebral palsy, dude. Like, I don't know how this is gonna work. Like, I can't ride a Segway. This is what I was like, dude, I can't ride a Segway, and I'm definitely not doing this job on foot. Like, it's just not even
an option
for me. Like, what would you suggest?
The Segways, bro.
Like, help me out here. And he was like, dude, just get a scooter. So I was like, oh, I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. So yeah, dude. So that was pretty much it. And then, yeah, that's kind of like when I decided that I was going to go.
It's amazing.
and
it's amazing.
here I am,
Amazing. So, dude, again, the reason I'm so excited is because I know so many people who listen, like whether they own a business or whether they're starting a business or whether they're in sales or whether they're just a young kid that likes content to go and like think bigger or whatever it may be. Like we kind of have all audiences. What I love is like, it's such a cool example of just like, yeah, this is what I want. I'm going to go get it. And just like for you, door to door is the least attractive thing in the world to me. Like the least attractive thing in the world for other reasons, actually. More of my insecurities of like, I don't want to freaking knock on doors and try and convince people to buy something. I don't even like to talk to a stranger at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like, but it's such a cool example. So I got a question for you then.
Sure.
You went and you finished the summer, you've done this thing, like you went and conquered the beast, you went and figured it out. I know all of the battles that come in summer, and maybe we'll dive into that in just a little bit. Actually, let's dive into that first.
Okay.
The battles that come in summer. What was a battle you remember where it was like, okay, this is like a tipping point of I either quit and go home or I finish, if you ever had one?
Yeah.
Or one where it's like, if I haven't already made my mind up, I would have quit at this point.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that was really, really beneficial, and I have to give credit where credit is due, is like my managers, Noah and Tyson, are some of the greatest human beings I've ever met. And very, very early, like for me, like even just going out and knocking, my mindset was like, I don't want to be a burden to these guys. Like I know like this is probably not ideal for them to have to like worry about me or whatever that entails, which they weren't doing that. That was just my thought process and it was wrong. But for me, it was like they just cared about me as a human being and they were giving me an opportunity, which I felt like I was waiting for and I needed in my own way. But even like in that vein of like wanting to quit, it was just like they were super heavy and I'm so grateful for them for like educating me on this idea of like creating a foundational why.
Yeah.
Because that was just something I had that wasn't on my radar. I felt like I had some of those qualities already, but really just like making it a tangible thing of like, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that when, you know, crap hits the fan, like this is what I can rely on. And so early on, even before the summer, I'd be talking to people like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do door to door and whatever. And like the responses that I would get from people were like insane. Like some of the craziest things I've ever heard as far as like, just didn't even think people thought about things that way. Like, I mean, I remember talking to like Mitch Matthews at Riverside and I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'm about to go leave. I'll be back, you know, who knows when, but I'm leaving in a couple weeks to go do door to door.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, you're going to kill it. Like your energy is insane. Like you will go kill it. You have like what it takes. So I would take like what they would say or just like people that I knew were like pulling for me. And I was just writing that down. So that in the summer, it was like, okay, dude, today, like I'm going to go knock for, you know, my mom. I'm going to go knock for like Mitch Matthews told me I could do this or whoever. Right. So I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
Like that's just
shout
how
out
it
Mitch,
was
bro. That's
shout
awesome.
Out Mitch. He's the homie.
That's awesome.
But, so yeah, just really, really finding a why. And I think for me, the time I wanted to quit the most was probably after my first month. Because I felt like a lot of the job for me was just understanding like what goes into it. And I think like mentally that's like where I was a little bit weak is like, I didn't really have an expectation of what this was going to do to my body. Obviously I was preparing as much as I could. I was going to the gym and trying to, you know, walk on the treadmill and do all these things to like get my body prepared. But it was hard to know, like when to push past like discomfort and also knowing like when to like take
Chill
a
out.
break. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so after my first month, it's like, I can't quit, but I can't sit here and tell you that I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
So, that was a big one for sure. I guess another one I can think of, too, was at the end of the summer. So I, for context, I went out at the beginning of May. I think I got out to Alabama, our market, May 3rd. Post middle of August, our big like company competition, we call it the Rumble. They moved us to Texas. So, I was in Texas for a month and a half. So I basically was in market I was knocking from beginning of May to end of September.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, my goal was to hit 150, either 150 accounts or 150,000 in rev. And I can't remember which one it was off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But it was tough because I was selling accounts and then they would cancel.
Yep.
And then I was selling accounts and then I would cancel.
Yep.
At this point in time, I'm one of 3 guys that's left out there trying to get this thing done. And I think this is when I realized that the job really is like messed up. Is I'm driving out to area by myself, which was it was fine, great. And Noah calls me and he's like, "Hey, how you doing, dude? Like, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Bro, this is hard, but like I'm gonna figure it out." We went over like logistics, like where I was, how close I was to my goal, and I can't remember the exact number I gave him, but I was like, I've got like 20 something accounts left. And he was like, "Dude, when I talked to you a week ago, you were at like 20 something accounts left. Like, what's going on?" And he knew that I was signing people and then they were canceling or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Dude, it's okay to come home. Like, you've done what you needed to do. It's okay to come home."
Mm-hmm.
So I have that conversation with him, like spend 10 minutes on the phone, whatever, hang up the phone. And then like 20 minutes later, Tyson calls me and they hadn't communicated with each other at all. And he calls me and he's like, "Dude, how are you doing?" Same kind of thing. "Where are you at with your goal and everything?" And I'm like, "Dude, I have this much left to do and I really want to get it done. But like, this is just what's going on." And he was like, "Dude, I think you can finish. Like, I think you can do it." And that's when it was like really hard decision for me to make, is because I'm listening to these guys that,
Both
are literally
advice.
in the top, both top 1% of anyone who's ever knocked a door. And I'm giving the exact same reasons they're giving me the exact same reasons for why I should go and why I should stay.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, this is a really just like, this job is hard, man.
Yeah.
Like, this job is messed up, bro.
It is.
Messed up.
And when you say hard and you say messed up, I would even interpret that or like rebrand that as like, this job is the ultimate mirror into yourself.
For sure.
Like, it gets so hard, it gets so messed up. So you get to take a real look at like, okay, like, what do I got?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
How much can my like tank really carry me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes like when you say messed up, I even resonate because sometimes it can get past the line. Like I've had years where I push myself too far, too hard. But also the crazy thing is how far you actually can go is way farther than you think.
Right.
Now, when you get carried away with that because you get addicted to the success you get from it, right? That's when it gets really bad. But I think the line, in my opinion, which could definitely be argued, is if you mentally want to quit and you haven't found the success you want, the best thing you can do is go make it happen however you got to make it happen. But once you like do that and you get that success, don't get addicted to that.
Right.
Because if you get addicted to that, everything else goes out the window.
Right.
Like for me, it was literally my health. It was, I wasn't eating. I was pounding energy drinks. I ended up in the ER.
Right.
Like I got stress-induced shingles when I was 19 years old.
Right.
Like just the most wild shit ever. Because I got addicted to that. Like, oh, I know I can go farther.
Yeah.
And it's like, how far can you actually go? Because eventually, like, there actually is a limit. Like, you just die. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But pushing past what you think the limit is so freaking valuable.
It's vital.
Like, it's insanely valuable, and that's what's so cool about the job. So that's
for sure.
That's a perfect like segue into my question for you. My next question is, what would you say is 1 to 3 or just a few or whatever it is, your favorite, most important, most influential lessons you've learned since being in the door-to-door space?
Yeah.
Because there's so many.
Right.
And the door-to-door space is amazing. But what have you learned in the door-to-door space?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think the biggest one for me that might shock people is like, I learned really fast and the industry was kind of my like introduction into this for me. But like, I really needed to like, dissect how I like think about myself and how I like talk to myself.
Yeah.
I think most people would be shocked to know now that like more than the physical challenges I might have faced during the summer, you're out and it's 6 o'clock, you don't have any deals, you're dripping sweat, people are punting you off porches. My legs are on fire. I don't think I can like move. I've taken like 5 ibuprofen, which like I don't know if that's great, but anyway, like I'm trying to push through this stuff. And then I start hearing like the little like voices in your head that everyone knows about, like these little demons that try to tell you can't do what you need to do. And I honestly feel like for me, like that was more difficult for me than any physical
For sure.
thing I went through, is like understanding like, okay, you know, I
Time out right there.
yeah,
I want everyone to realize that that's so important and so key, because that is why the summer's hard.
yeah,
Of course, there's other reasons it's hard. It's hot, you're sweaty, whatever.
yeah,
But ultimately, even coming from you, right? Especially coming from you,
yeah,
the physical part was not the hard part.
No.
It was a challenge to go figure out, but
Yeah.
that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about, and the reason you're freaking here and the reason you're sitting here with me, is because the harder part of this, and I want all my guys to hear this specifically. If no one else hears this, it's fine, but all my guys, the hardest freaking part about this job is you face demons. You are met many, many times with a wall
yes,
that you don't think you can break through. And then there's
Yes.
500 people behind you, which is really actually just you 500 times over,
Right.
telling yourself you can't get through that wall.
Right.
And then the other part of you that's like, oh no, I'm a victor, not a victim, has to be like, no, I'm going to figure out how that, if I can't get through it, I'm going to go over it. If I can't go over it, I'm going to go around it. Whatever
Right.
it is, I'm going to get past the wall.
right.
And that's exactly right. So
Yeah.
keep going. I'm sorry, but I want everyone to
no.
realize that it's not physical.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone's got their like one thing that like this is what holds them back or whatever they might think they do. But like for me, yeah, like I had to take steps to like figure that stuff out, to where, I mean, I was meeting with a therapist while I was out there,
Mhm.
and I was just like, look, I know I've had issues with this in the past, but it's different when someone is hearing you talk to yourself and they're like, dude, you need to be like nice. Like
Yeah.
you need to be nice to yourself, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I probably need to like look into this. So I was talking to a sports psychologist and just trying to figure stuff out. He focused in like ADHD and just like feelings of like depression, not performing.
Yeah.
And like that helped me a ton.
Yeah.
Like that equipped me with the tools to where I am now, to where it's like, okay, now I understand like these are the things I can do when I'm feeling this
Mm-hmm.
to like get past that. Because
Yeah.
I think it's easy for people to say, well, just like if you're feeling that, like just like switch it. And I do think there's value there.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of times it really does just take like a mental conscious decision to be like, I'm not gonna do that, or I'm gonna say this instead. But at the same time, it's almost like, the map is not the territory. So someone can show me like what this is gonna look like. And then when you're actually there and you're like facing it, it's like completely different.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing. It's funny you mention the, like getting over walls, is because I really feel like that's what I'm like here to do in this space, is like whatever wall people think they have in front of them, that like you can get through it. Like our team name out there was Sisu.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Noah's talked to you a little bit about like what that means.
Yep.
But I have it on my phone right here. This like stays on my wallpaper.
Yeah.
Because this is like what I want. Like when I think about like myself, like this is what I want to, what I want to be, what I'm striving for.
Yeah.
And it's just the definition of it's a noun. It comes from a Finnish term. But it's extraordinary determination, courage, and resoluteness in the face of extreme adversity. An action mindset which enables individuals to reach beyond their present limitations, take action against all odds, and trans barriers into frontiers. And that's like what I think of, is like it's someone who's like moving regardless.
Mhm.
Like they're trying regardless.
Mhm.
Because
So cool.
it's so easy to just be, throw in the towel and call it.
Yeah.
But as long as you're just like progressing and trying to get over a wall or build a staircase behind the wall,
Yep.
or punch a hole in it, like whatever it takes, like just get through the wall.
Yep. Dude, I freaking love that. So two things. You hit on, in my role now, a lot of my job, especially midsummer, like July, when it's freaking hot, when everything's
Yeah.
either going amazing or terrible, like
Mhm.
it's the most polarity in success you'll ever see in the
Yeah.
summer. And it feels like there's never ending. The wall's unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
I get phone calls all the time. That's like my job in the summer is
Yeah.
I field 12 to 15 phone calls a day, and then I do my other work. Right. And of these phone calls, majority of the time, the reminder that I give people is, hey, dude, let's just pause. Let's think for a minute. Like all these things that you're saying, you're telling, like you're so beat up that you're not producing, but who's beating you up? It's really you, and you understand it, but it's all this. And it's the reminder is always this. It's like, look, dude, if your best friend called you and was in your exact position and doing exactly what you're doing and getting the exact same results, how would you talk to them?
Mm-hmm.
Like if they really called you, like let's say and we role play it. I'm like, what would you say to me if I'm telling you all this? Well, dude, you got it. Like that's what I'd tell you. I'd tell you, you got it. You got it. Like you can figure it out. It's hard right now, but it'll get better. Don't let it defeat you. Right? Like you're a unit. You're built for it. You're supposed to be there. You got this. I'm like, okay, cool. When you're at home at night and you went and bageled or whatever it is, how are you talking to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. And they're like, I'm like, no, tell me out loud. And they're like, well, I'm telling myself I suck. I'm telling myself I'm not going to hit my goals. I'm questioning if I should even be out here. I'm questioning if this industry is even for me. I'm convincing myself the product sucks. Like I'm literally like, and I'm like, dude, your job is to be your own best friend. That's your job. To be the guy where when 15 people close the door in your face, you're like, dude, what's wrong with those 15 people? You're the man. Like this next dude's going to freaking love you. And then guess what? He slams the door too. And you're still your best friend. You're like, bro, screw that guy too. The next guy's going to say yes. Like that's your job. You're supposed to be your own best friend, your own hype man. So I love that. And it's the most constant reminder I have to give people. And then the next thing you said about like, and it has a lot to do with Sisu, like one of like my trademarked quotes, like it's on so many of the Meraki pieces of gear. Like I put on all of our Meraki gear, I put my favorite quote at the time or what I think we need to go and embody or whatever it may be. And like the most repeating quote that is my favorite quote that I legitimately have almost tattooed. I've tattooed a few of the quotes, but I've almost tattooed this one. I used to write it down every morning before I knocked doors because that was part of my routine. Was because my negative voice was so loud, I would physically write the things I wanted to say in my head all day. And the number one, it opened up and it closed my journal entry every day was, you cannot beat someone who doesn't quit. And like, to me, that was the most empowering thing ever. Cause what it means is it gives me permission to not have to win right now. Right. It gives me permission to not have to be as good as everybody else right now. For sure. Because I know something. I know I'm not going to quit. Mm-hmm. And I can look anyone in the eye and say, yeah, I'll beat you. And they might laugh because in their mind, they're like, dude, I'm outproducing you by double. What do you mean you'll beat me? They don't understand what I'm talking about is by the time you're out of this industry, I will have done more than you have. Right. That's what I was talking about. Right. And it doesn't have to mean that for everyone, but what it can mean is like, whatever your goals are to go finish something as hard as a summer, because the go home rate in the summer is incredible. Like people quit every day. It's so hard. Is truly just to understand the principle of, dude, you cannot beat someone who doesn't quit. As long as you don't quit, you're going to get through the wall. Yeah. As long as you don't quit and you keep trying something different, if one thing fails 3,000 times, maybe go make a little tweak and take a different approach, right? Yeah, yeah. But don't quit. Right? If going through it's not working, try and go around it. If going around it doesn't work, try and go over it. If trying to go over it doesn't work, go back to trying to get through it and try a new way of getting through it. Does that make sense? Yeah, for sure. And you legitimately cannot beat someone who doesn't quit. No. And it's like, it's exactly what you said, right? Yeah. Exactly what you said. So this might be a different question for you. And this is a shout out to Noah and all them. What is one of the best or the most, and then we'll talk about Tony a little bit because I don't want to keep you here all day. We could chat all day, but what is the best training you've received in this industry? And you don't have to remember the whole training, but even just what you took away from it. I'm saying like what you took away from the training, because these lessons you explained earlier are lessons that you learned when you're in the tunnel alone. Yeah. Right? Like the voice in your head, then you got a therapist, they helped you work through it. Right. But a training is something where you didn't tell them what you needed help with. They just gave it and it may have just hit you the right time, the right way. Yeah. And you took something out of it. What's the best training? I think one thing that helped me a ton, like sales wise during the summer, that our team harped on like crazy was just like framing, how you frame the pitch. Because explain framing. Framing is like basically you're telling someone over and over and over again like why you're there. So I would say like in that sense, for me, the biggest things that helped me the most was like pre-overcoming and framing the pitch. Mm-hmm. And just being like, yeah, dude, the only reason I'm here is because of XYZ. And like, yeah, they're still going to get pissed. They're still human beings, like whatever. But very quickly, they just understand like, okay, this kid is talking to me because he's here to help take care of like the bugs or whatever you're selling. Right. And you know, it sets the stage. Framing sets the stage. Yeah. You can't do anything without it. Yep. And I think understanding for me that like doing it throughout the pitch as you're talking to somebody
It can be super subtle. It doesn't have to be anything crazy.
Yeah.
That way they just know why you're here.
Yeah.
You're not, and it's like nice because you can still be like yourself. You can still be friendly. But they also understand that like, you're not really here to like mess around. Like you're here to like help them get everything taken care of.
Yeah, I think it's such a good point. And when you frame a conversation well, especially in sales, like just to touch on it, it's like it's a very, very important piece of sales, and it actually doesn't get talked about as much as I think it probably should. So I'm actually glad you brought it up. But a perfect way to go frame something is to connect, but also let them know exactly what you're trying to get out of the conversation as well.
Yeah.
Right? Let them know what you're trying to give them, what you're trying to get out of the conversation, and how you plan to get there. At some point, you add the how you plan to get there. But at first, you just want to go and connect, drop their walls, and then frame it, set the stage so you can go do your job effectively.
Right. And I feel like it just saved me a lot of time. Like you just find out really quickly, like, okay, this person is not into what I'm saying at all. And that's totally fine. I'm going to go over to the next door and try to do the same thing, and it'll be a different result. And then, so I would say for sure that was like one of the most practical trainings. I would say the other like training I received before the summer was just like not treating, I mean, I'm coming off my first year, right? So I was a rookie.
Yep.
Not picturing myself or thinking of myself as a rookie. Like it's just my first year. If it really comes down to it and someone wants to know, it's like, yeah, I did my first year, but I'm not a rookie. Because I just didn't like how that word like sounded almost.
It almost sounds like you don't know what you're doing.
It's almost like elementary. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so again, I'm super grateful for my team because we all kind of just like adopted that to where it's just like, you know, we're all just out here, and some guys have been doing it for 3 years. Some guys have been doing it for a month, and like, we're just doing it though.
Yep.
It doesn't really like, you know, I wasn't treated differently, or we like didn't feel like I was treated differently.
Cool.
Because
How
I
cool
was
is that,
a rookie,
dude?
You know what I mean?
That's a great idea. No, I really, really like that. I've never incorporated that, but I really, really like that a lot. So that's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so bro, we just barely went to, and I'll wrap this thing up quick. I promise. But
I'm good.
This part's fun for me because as you, I don't even know if you actually know that, but obviously you guys came. Big Grit Group came to the last Tony Robbins event, which was UPW, Unleash the Power Within. I've done that event, I think, 7 times. I just finished my platinum year with Tony Robbins, so I went to 14 events this year. It was amazing. Awesome. I loved it. It's like I've repeated it so many times. I'm like, okay, I get this shit now. I'm a slow learner. It takes me a minute, right? Yeah. So that was, I think, the only way for me to really go understand some of the principles. UPW for me, the first time I did it, was so impactful for a couple of reasons, and I can touch on them in a minute. But for you, like, what was your takeaway from that event? Well, like, if you were to say you left that event and I say, hey man, like what to you was impactful from that event? I know you learned a lot. I know we could go down a million different avenues, but what was impactful for you that you feel like you're going to cling on to and take throughout the rest of your life to go improve your life from where it's at right now?
Yeah. I mean, for those that don't know, like during the Unleash the Power Within event, towards the middle of the week, it's a week-long event. Towards the middle of the week, you do a thing called the Firewalk. And for me, that was the most impactful, just because, I mean, you know, you've been there, but for those that don't know, Tony kind of like coaches you through how to like literally walk on like burning hot coals.
Yeah.
And so
I love saying these things because then everyone's like, okay, that's some weird woo-woo shit. It's like, no, dude, I've done it 4 times. And if you don't lock in, your feet get burnt. I watched many people that I've brought go, they get blisters on them. Not many, actually just a handful of people. And I've taken hundreds of people to that event. Go and get their feet burnt, and it's like you're walking on legitimate coals, 15 feet of them, 5 to 6 big steps of like,
and you're seeing them dump them on like fresh from the hot fire. Coals, like on like right before you go, and you're just
1,000%.
Holy,
it is.
Like, this is real.
It's wild.
But for me, it was more like, dude, I wasn't necessarily afraid to like walk on the coals or was afraid that I was going to get burned. I was more afraid that I was going to start walking and then like trip. Yeah. And just like fall into like thousands of degrees.
About that when you brought up the Firewalk. I didn't even think about that.
So I was like, I mean, I was there with a bunch of the guys on our squad, and I'm just sitting there like, dude, I want to do this really bad, but like, I don't like, it's like it's like the same thing I was talking about like during the summer. Like for me, it's like, okay,
where's the line?
Where do I draw this thing? Because like, yeah, I want to do it. And I'm like, I know it'll be good for me to say like, yeah, I did this thing, but what am I willing to do for it?
Yeah.
dude, I don't know if I'm willing to risk falling on my face and just burning that thing. You know
I mean,
what
bro, if you trip, just so people understand as well, if you were to trip, I didn't even think about that. If you were to trip while doing this, your entire body, your clothes are toast. You're probably
Gone.
catching on fire,
Yeah.
actually, if you have clothes on, and then 3rd-degree burns. Like,
Yeah,
it would be like falling on a 15-foot fire pit that is still burning.
No,
like,
it's crazy.
And then having to get up, you're putting your hand out, you're burning the shit
It's
out
like,
of your
where do
hands.
I put my hands? You know,
I guess you stop, drop, and roll at that. I don't know what you do.
Yeah,
You're
I don't
just
know.
rolling on coals. That sounds miserable.
It's
All right.
terrible.
So what did you do?
But so I mean, for those that don't know, like I said, Tony walks you through how to actually do it, the things to keep in your mind as you're doing it, what it will look like how fast you have to move, and that sort of thing. And then, dude, I'm getting up there, and everyone's like screaming yes. Like I said, for people who haven't been there, you walk out of wherever like arena you're in, right? Everyone's just screaming yes. We're all amped to do this thing. You've been walked through it.
And there's 12,000 people doing
and there's
it.
a bunch of people watching. And I just got up there, and I mean, Tony also talks about like how if you want to change your like mindset, you need to change your physiology first. You need to like move your body, and he has his trademark like make your move, where he kind of talks about how that will help you change your mindset.
You have a trigger that'll put you in a certain state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, dude, I just got up there and my mind just went like blank. Like I just like blacked out because I was like, I can't not, dude. Like I would feel weirder like going there, enjoying the experience, like learning all these things I've learned, and then like not doing it because I just felt like I was like cheating myself out of something.
Yeah.
And when I actually got up there, I think what also helped, if I'm being completely honest too, is just like watching people do it. It's like, okay, like, yeah, I'll be fine. Like, I'll be okay. But in that same vein, it's like, dude, that was so symbolic to me of like everything I want in my life, period, is on the other side of like fear. And like when I think about like how powerful that is for me, and like the amount of times I like draw on just that one experience, because I've had many, but just that one of like, look, dude, everything, and this is for everybody, but like everything you want in life is on the other side of like the one thing that you don't want to do like the most.
Yeah.
Like genuinely. Because it's like the last thing I wanted to do when I got up there is walk across a thing of coals. It's just like, dude, I'm scared out of my mind right now.
Yeah.
But I know I have to do it. I can't not do it.
Yeah. There's a little bit of peer pressure in there too.
For sure, right? But I also think it's in the same way of like, you know, you see people who do things out of necessity because that's just, they've made up their mind. It's like, dude, I have no other choice than to like do this thing. And if I fail, great. Like failure is so subjective.
Yeah.
But like, at least I tried. And it goes back to your point where I mean, I 100% agree. It's like, you can't beat me if I don't quit. And that's kind of like how I am, like how I view myself now. It's like, I've never been the most talented guy in the room. I've never been the smartest. You know, sales even still is like hard for me to get the hang of. I'm not like naturally gifted at hardly anything, but it's like, I know I'm going to outwork you.
Yeah.
And like, you're still my homie. Like, you're still my friend, bro. But like, I'm going to outwork you.
Yeah.
And it might not look like that on paper, but that's okay. Because I know that like I was a victor and not a victim. You know what 100%. I mean?
Yeah. And to go along with that, which is so powerful. I mean, what you want is on the other side of fear is such a easy to say thing and such a hard to understand thing and a hard to live thing.
For sure.
And then like that specifically that's such a good takeaway from that event. And in addition to that, when you say I will outwork you, it goes back to, if you understand the laws of success, the law of the harvest is very, very important. I've done an episode on it where I break it down. It literally, like it states, you will reap in direct proportion with how you sow. Meaning, if you outwork me, even if it doesn't look like it on paper right now, it will. It will always get there.
And that's hard.
Right? As long as you don't quit.
Yeah.
That's like the asterisk in the law of the harvest.
That's the caveat, right? And it's like, it's hard when you feel like you're doing the right things and just nothing's coming.
Yeah.
And like that, for me, like that's when I find out like who I really am and like how I really live my life and what I really do.
It is. It's really, really hard unless you understand the principle of the law of the harvest. Like
Sure.
once you truly like internally understand that, you just know that really what matters is that you're doing all the right things on the input side, right? Of course, you want to design your inputs to get you the output you want, of
Right.
course. But once you know that output and you've designed your inputs to get you there, you just want to pull on that for inspiration and motivation. You don't want to think about that as your standard of success because then you'll develop this expectation of a timeline that you want to achieve it.
Right.
And God will say, joke's on you, bro. I make that decision, not you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have to either decide when that happens, oh, I'm never going to get there. Oh, that's God. Like, I'm not going to play God's part. I'm going to play my part, which
Right.
is the inputs. I'm the farmer.
Right.
God's the one who makes the seed turn into the plant.
Yes.
Right. That's going to happen every single time as long as I do everything right. Unless it's
100%.
not supposed to happen and we have a crazy long winter and
Right.
then that's meant to teach me something.
Right.
Right. And it's
then I
like,
shift.
exactly.
And then it's okay. Like,
it's a shift and you go and you innovate and you get better and you roll with it exactly how you may. So that's what a cool takeaway, dude. When I asked that question, I didn't even think about the Firewalk. Right. But then when I do think about the Firewalk, I'm like, holy crap, that's actually crazy. And then I think about like, dude, tripping, I can't even like,
yeah.
that would suck. Like that thought alone, like that fear alone, and then breaking through and then doing it. How good do you feel? Answer me this. Cause I've done the Firewalk. I want to say I've done it. How many times have I done that event? 6 times, I think. I've done it 6 times. And dude, there is like this crazy, even still the 6th time, I just barely did it. The 6th time you get to the other side of it where they spray your feet off with the hose. Like it doesn't matter who's around. I feel like I could legitimately knock out an MMA heavyweight champion with a punch because I'm like, dude, I'm so powerful right now. Which you go watch a video of me, it probably looks very different from that. I absolutely could never do that
for sure.
But I'm like, that's how I feel.
Right.
I feel unstoppable. I feel invincible. How was that when you got on the other side of that walk and you're like, holy shit, I did it,
dude? I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's so hard to describe. And like from the outside looking in, if you haven't done it, you're listening to this probably being like, all you did was walk across some coals and like, yeah, that was hard, but like, why is it? No, dude, I'm telling you, it's like, no, like you could put me in front of anything and I just know I would figure out a way to like get it done.
Yeah.
Like whatever insurmountable goal, like you wanted, I mean, you are telling me to go run a marathon or whatever. Like, I promise you, I will, like in that moment, I'm like, I will go get it done.
Yeah.
Like I will go get it done.
Yeah.
And like that was so valuable for me because now I can just, I mean, on top of all the other things I learned just throughout this season of my life, it's like, I know that I'm the type of guy that will go figure it out.
Yeah.
And if I don't have the answers, I'll go find the people that have the answers and try to soak in everything they tell me until I figure it out.
I love it, dude. I freaking love it. And I think it's important to note, and I'll close on this for everybody listening. Anytime there's something you're absolutely terrified of, the Firewalk's a perfect symbolic thing. It's why Tony does it, right? Because that's the lesson he's teaching you. And clearly it works. It's effective, right?
Yes.
That's exactly the feeling that's on the other side of doing something that scares the shit out of you always.
Yeah.
Right? Like getting through it. Like, dude, I have so many summer experiences where the drive home feels the exact same or the most relatable to that feeling of finishing the Firewalk of this scared the shit out of me, right? I was courageous regardless. As corny as this whole thing sounds, I was courageous regardless. I went out, I made it happen, I did it despite all the excuses. There were so many setbacks. It didn't go according to plan, but I did it and I didn't quit. It's like, it's the most like empowering feeling ever. And I just encourage people to just search for that feeling always.
Yeah.
And what happens when you search for that feeling, it means you just go face your fears.
Right.
And if you face your fears, you typically find success.
Yeah.
Like that's actually where everything you probably want in life is on the other side of fear. And that's the same place you go get that feeling we're talking about. So Drew, dude, you're a champ, bro. I'm going to be cheering for you until the end of time. Appreciate your time. Great conversation. Massive inspiration, dude. Big love to you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. It's been a blessing.
All you guys tuning in, as always, much love. Until next time.